Okay, this video is going to take a mild twist on what we've been up to and what we've been doing. But now that we've moved from 2 workshops to 1 workshop, I need to change the way I was planning on rolling things out. The F-truck, which is behind me and is totally untouched now for the last couple of months, has to go on the back burner a little bit, but then it's going to come back real fast. I'll explain that. I'm going to swing you around and we're going to have a quick look at the Gasser project, which I've hinted towards previously on the channel, but now it has to make some progress because it's in my way, and that needs to be where it is, and that's going to make this work. Anyway, let me show you. Around we go. So this is my, I don't know, 1960 something FB Holden. I bought this ages ago along with the chassis and everything, and it's just been a slow burning project that I don't care. This is my forever car, so I don't really care how long this takes, although if it went a little bit faster it wouldn't hurt. It's been sitting here for a while. It's starting to look like the barn find that it was, and she was a true barn find, this one. She's pretty awesome. This right here is the Toyota Stout chassis that has to go underneath this so that I can register this and drive it on Queensland roads. This is the 9-inch for the rear. I've got another set of tyres coming. These are a little wide. These are a 295. We're going to drop back to a 255. The wheel arches on an FB Holden aren't that big. The front diff, and the thing that makes this all magical, is the Toyota Stout is a beam axle front end, making a proper Gasser chassis. So tonight I'm going to drag this out. I've already moved a bunch of stuff. Normally this big bin, another bin over there, they've sort of blocked this area off and it's entombed and I forget about the thing, and that's kind of been actually handy. However, this workshop is now our only workshop. Let me walk out the front and show you. This is all the space I have. This is our car parking here on the left. There are the businesses, and this is what the shop looks like from the front. That's us, KM Exhaust. So I've only got 2 hoists in this shop because we took out the 3rd hoist and moved all our manufacturing over there. The F-truck I can't really work on here because, unlike today, we've only got a couple of cars here. Normally this is full of cars each night. So I'm going to move the F-truck into here, which is why this all has to go. So this brings me to the next part of this. I'm going to build out this rolling chassis so that the chassis and the FB around. There we go. So the chassis and the FB are going to go to Adam's house. Now Adam works here part-time. He also has a fabrication and compliance business. He is going to marry the two together. It kind of upsets me that I'm not doing this myself. I do all my own work on all my own cars, whether it be engines and diffs and whatever's. Fabrication as well. But I need that space to put the F-truck in so I can redo the rear diff, the brakes, sort out the carby, and a few other bits and pieces that make it really annoying to move that car in and out every day. So I just need to get it running and driving perfectly, essentially, without any issues or hassles. So I'm going to entrust him with doing the mounting of the body onto the chassis. Oh, where am I? That way. So that that all comes together. Whilst it's out, we'll be working on the F-truck. Got me? Cool. That's what we're doing. I'm going to drag this fellow out. It's just been sitting here since I moved it from the other workshop. And I'm going to use my engine crane, pick all this up, get it all on the ground, get it underneath the chassis. Noisy motorbike. So that this thing goes in there. Now this was in its own dedicated Luke's project car, part of the other workshop. Now I don't have the other workshop, it's now a hassle. That's why we're doing this. So I'm going to go up here onto the mezzanine, and I'll have to sift through some boxes from we moved and find all the bits and pieces that make the chassis work again. So anyway, enough talking I think. Let's get after this thing. My first order of business is going to be to get the diffs off the chassis here. This is how I package it all together to transport it. So, why weren't you just left up? So I'll get it apart. Hopefully I can put some pressure here. Nope, haven't gone far enough up. So we'll get this all apart, like so. Oh, because the whole chassis is balancing on that end now, it's heavier. That makes sense. Get this apart. Apart. Oh my god, you stop rotating. No, that's it. We'll get it all apart. And I'll go through a whole box of stuff and see if I've got all the bits and pieces I need to put the shackles on and the pins, and hopefully I haven't lost it all. So I went up on the mezzanine and I found the box, and I think it's got everything in it. I packed it very well, thankfully. That is the steering box, which is a recode unit. A lot of the parts here are reconditioned, ready for assembly. The diff's brand new. It's a 9-inch with a true track, Eaton true track in it. It's only a 28 spline diff though, so, but it does have brand new disc brakes and bearings. It's all rebuilt. We'll touch on the 28 spline thing, because I know someone's going to go, oh, it's going to break. It's just a regular 9-inch center with 28 spline axles. I'm very sorry to all those people out there who don't like that. This is a budget sensitive arrangement. It was a second-hand housing. I built it all up with second-hand parts essentially. The tree track came out of another car, a much smaller car, but he upgraded to 31 or 32 splines or something. For the power, I'm only looking to make up to 500 horsepower out of this car. So I think that diff will be fine. At least get me to the point where the car can be registered and it's on the road, and I'll upgrade it then. Right now this is a lot of concept and proof of concept type stuff. It's not been done before. No one's put a Toyota Stout chassis underneath an FB Holden. It's a new thing. So I'm just going to work through a bunch of things. Oh, that was sharp. And see what we come up with. Why is that so sharp? Oh, all right, yep, okay. So I think I've found all the pieces I need to, I need that, to put all this back together, which is a monumental thing, because tell you what, since I've moved, I have not been able to find anything. Every time I go to look for something, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I just moved so quickly and moved so many things that I've forgotten where everything ended up. These are also all rebuilt. Threads been cleaned, they've got anti-seize on them, they're repainted, they've been sandblasted. Like, this has been happening in the background. Stock original shackles. Impossible to find a set of shackles for this car. Like, if I didn't have these, I'd be in real trouble. So that's like the rear shackles, that's my fronts, we're good there. I've got all new bushes to go in all of this, so we're going to do all of that as well. So I'm going to keep going through this box. There's another plate, I need that. I know exactly where all this stuff goes too. I'll keep going through my box of goodies here. Oh, another pin. We'll get all the bits out and we'll get it all back together, I guess. Oh, shocky mounts. Might as well throw them on, why not? We're doing it. Alright, let's do this. Now, given that I don't have a forklift or a two-poster hoist, this is the best idea I can come up with. I had to use the engine crane to get the diffs off anyway, so I'm going to use it to pick this up. Hopefully all this scoots underneath together. Wheels probably going to slide forward and take out the camera, but we'll get to that in a second. Come on! It's working! Oh, it's genius, man. Roll that back. There you go. Full control. Load up some shackles, some pins. Steering box back in. We'll have this front end dialed in no time. So far, this is going way too well. Like that just goes on. But I am going to have to sort of cantilever it up to get the front together. So that is going to be my true test of character here. I think I'm going to have to jack up the rear in order to get it to balance back out so I can put the front pins in. This is all very nicely going together. I did put a lot of time and effort. Like, all this has been sandblasted. Which way does that go? That way? Sandblasted. Threads run with dye and all that sort of stuff. So new rubbers, everything's going together that well, I guess. Boom! Like a pro. Let's see if we can work out how to get these front pins in. It looks like it's going to work. I think it's got just enough leverage to it. Under there. I think it's going to go. I think we're okay. Now a little bit more. Steady. Looking good about there. Give it a bit more of a wiggle. Alright, I've got a new issue. The shackles are facing forwards, need to face backwards. And work out how I'm going to overcome that issue. Be right back. Right, I just got the back jacked up to above ride height. Now we should be able to come down here. The shackles, well, they look like they're kind of playing the game, don't they? Oh, so close. See if I can pry bar that. We're really, really close. Go backwards, you little devils. Now don't turn, go backwards. They'll go. They're gonna go. Oh, yeah, we're good. Pins are all greased up, so I'm just gonna come up with some, I don't know, push, pull. We'll get it there. We'll get it there. get these pins in. Just like that, the air compressor starts up. So, that kind of works. Got my pry bar, jammer in there. I think I've got a little bit far back here. Go through the hole, man. Oh, we are so close. Come on. Okay. We might jump over here and put this one in and see if that's going to help the case at all. Up you come, up you come. Don't come up. Why don't the chassis go down? Now we need to get up on the back. That'll be it. Come up here. I know you can't see me, probably not. A little bit more up on the back. Come down the front type scenario. Kick the bolts so we lose them. Perfect. Just go upwards down here. Rubber hammer. We got one of those. Come up with this one. It's not doing anything. I think I've gone too far. It's like a bit of that action. Get a bit of a twist. And then you come, oh, it's pinched the rubber a little bit. That's probably why it won't come down. It's just that corner. Alright, so you guys watch me struggle. I'm going to find another pry bar with a slightly smaller end. Just pinch the edge of this rubber so it's stopping it from going down. Alright, the other side ended up, oh hang on, I think I got this one too. Yes! Success! So, now there is a stepped edge in here. I have to line that up. I'm just going to use a little bit of this grease. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, I didn't clean these bolts up. But anyway, I had to miss something. I wasn't really ready for this stage just yet. Come on. We were meant to be working on an F-truck, getting it done, so that it was out of the way and we're moving on this car. But anyway, you've heard my story about moving too many times now. And I'm getting sick of saying it, so there you go. So this wasn't quite the stage I thought I'd be up to yet. But I'm also a little bit excited that we're up to this stage because this means that we are going to put a body on this thing, and that has been, well, kind of a great unknown for a long time. So once the body goes onto here, and I know that is a reality and it's a real thing, this car will move along very, very quickly after that, because then it's just engine, sandblast body, paint, like it can start moving. A lot of the time, the fear of will it actually work kind of gets the better of me, and I don't move forwards, which is kind of what's happened here a bit too. When the F-truck came up and I was working on this, I was, I don't know, maybe mildly relieved, I suppose, because I hadn't failed at that point, and I may still fail, but we're going to find out. Okay, that's that one buttoned up. I'm going to do out the bolts on the other side there. I've lost a nut for the other side of the pin. I'll have to get one of those, but these hold it in anyway. It can't go anywhere, so I'm not too bothered right now. For the sake of mock-up, that will be totally fine. I got this pin just started for the minute because this diff was never meant to work with this chassis. It just measures out roughly close. So, we're a little off center. That's all right though. It looks like it'll work, and I've got different tires coming, so don't worry about that. Our width should be correct by measurement. So I'm just gonna go around and put that pin in, see if I can line some of these springs up. These saddles aren't welded to anything, so I'm still trying to work out how it's all going to sit. So it's all loose at the moment, so there's a bit of shuffling. That was quite the fight, but we're in both sides. So it's the front of the springs mounted. We come back in here with some shackles, mount up the rear. Now I'm going to try and align this whole show and set somewhat of a pinion angle. I've got it pretty close. There's a bit of gap there. Less gap there, so it needs to go this way just a touch. That's right, the middle is all still loose. It's just thrown together just so that it held the spring pack and everything together, so I put it together. So that's that. Move on to these shackles, I think. Where are they at? Here they are. Molus, cool. Bang those in. We're doing some new bushes as well. I got those. I'm not a fan. I'd rather rubbers, but I can't seem to get them at the moment, so I'm sort of, I don't know, using those until I find something better, I suppose. But anyway, that's them. Starting to look like a chassis again. Got this side in, no worries at all. That actually went pretty easy. I was anticipating a fight, didn't have one. Got to the other side, but my DoorDash order rocked up. It's Gomez. Oh, hell yeah, man. My burrito, then I'll get back into her. With the back end back together, oh, I didn't show you that. Back end's back together. We'll have a quick look in a second, get a bit of an overview. I'm going to knock off these caster wheels that it's been moving around on for the last year or so. Year? You know what, it's probably nearly a year to the day this went out for sandblasting. I'm going to put that video up, probably following this video. I think we'll throw up how the chassis started before it got to this stage. So I'll throw it up for you soon. But I'm just going to knock these welds off. There's a couple of those stitch welds that hold these on. We'll get these out of the way. Like a glove, a little bit of clean up action. You'll never even know we welded something to it. Come on, little fella. There you go. Grind it back, make it look nice and smooth there again. Get rid of those bits just in case we catch our fingers on them, really. This chassis still has to be all boxed in, so I'm not too worried about much of that. Next piece of the puzzle, which we might as well throw it on because I've got it. If we're going to be dropping the body on, it'll make way more sense for it to be here than to not be here. I am missing 2 bolts though, so that is what it is. Let's just go. What? That doesn't make any sense. Not like that. Right. Well. In my efforts of bracing up the chassis, I've actually closed up part of where this sits. Well, that's a good thing we went to throw that on, otherwise it would have been really buggered. So, what's going on here is the chassis has like an indented section here. And the box sits actually down in there, and when I've boxed in the chassis rail at the front here, I've just come flush through this little part here. So, I guess what I'm going to have to do is cut this weld, put some reliefs in it, and just move it inwards. That's not the end of the world, I can fix that. That's an easy one. Alright, better get to doing that. This is what I'm talking about here. You can see where my weld is, and this box piece I've added to it is just, yeah, it's in the way. This needs to be recessed like it was. The other side was the same. I guess if it was a left-hand drive car, that would also be a thing. So that's why it's like that, and we better make it like that again. Alright. All I did was grind out the weld that was holding it all together. This helmet doesn't work real good. Grind out the weld that's holding it together, took a section out of it, and I've used a cold chisel to give myself a brake line. I've tested the steering box. We're in the zone, so I'll put some tacks on her, we'll weld her in. Where are we? Alright, that'll do for some tacky tacks. Just going to use the hammer to close that up a little bit, and I'll run a weld along there. We'll be good again. Oh, kick the hammer. Alright. Ooh, it's getting late in the night. I'm getting sore. Okay, so let's try this again. That worked out really well. Let's put some black paint on it. Matches the rest of it. Probably have the whole chassis sandblasted to get at the very end and properly paint the whole thing. I'm just doing this in the meantime to keep it in good condition. Oh, heavy little fella. So, it now fits. We can put some bolts in her. I'm just going to put the lower 2 in there because they're actually threaded into the mounting bracket. Come on, little guy, start for me. There you go. And that's just going to hold it in position for now. I'll grab some more bolts tomorrow for the other part. The bolts that were in there didn't want to come out, so I ended up getting the grinder and I can't remember what I did. I cut the back off them, I think. So yes, that's what's happened to them. Where's my... I was set up with a ratchet, now I've lost it. How do I do that? Look, I'm not going to lie, it's definitely a thing that I'm good at. Oh, there it is, I found it. Stop looking. Golly. Right, so we'll just nip this little fellow up for now. Without the top bolts in it, and I'll deal with that in the morning. It locates pretty well, gives you the idea of how the steering works. Then this is all Toyota Stout, it all just works, which is marvellous. The torque tube that is in my left hand right here, this piece right here, was originally the full length all the way up in the dashboard, those solid shaft arrangements. I've cut the shaft and it turns out it's a common size. I think it's 3/4 inch or something. And I put 2 flats on it so we can use a conventional steering joint. So that's worked out really well. I'm probably going to put a bearing in the end of it just to locate this tube on there a bit better. But that'll be that. And that'll connect back up to the factory steering. I'm hoping to keep the factory steering of the FB. Mainly because I want it to look fairly stockish in the inside. Kind of more period correct to a Gasser, I suppose. Back in the day, a Gasser wouldn't have had a fancy steering column or steering wheel. It was a budget race car in most cases, so they would have had the bench seat and the big old factory steering wheel. So I want to try and keep that sort of look to it. There we go. Marvellous. Heaps of room on that recess now. So that is done. I'm just going to hook up this drag link right here onto here. Actually, we can probably do that right now. This, when I had this all recoat, it's all been painted and it's taped and threads have all been cleaned up. I really have put a lot of time into this behind the scenes. Oh, I've taped my washer on. Come on, little guy. Ugh, it's so covered in anti-seize. I anti-seized everything. I always anti-seize everything, but I have not spared any on this part. That's for sure. Out of there. Okay. So this just splines onto this. Into no particular location, I guess. Splines onto this. Why won't that rotate? Splines onto this. I don't know. I know I said splines onto this several times, but it's not splining onto there very well. Why won't that just go on there nicely? That does that, that goes on there. That's where you live, man. I don't want to force it. Ah, there we go. The nut back on, with the spring washer. We'll do him up just ever so lightly. It's a tapered spline, so I don't really want to go put it on there with too much force, just enough to make it steer around the workshop, I suppose. That is freaking rad. I'm going to button this little bit up, get rid of the pieces underneath it, and put some air back on this tyre. Got some other tyres coming for it. These ones don't hold air. And let's go over and check her out as a finished product. Well, here it is, guys, in all its glory. One Gasser chassis. This is a proud moment. Couldn't believe it. I've been working up to this for a really long time. This build has been in my head now for, God, 10 or more years, I don't know, maybe longer. So what you're looking at is a 1972 Toyota Stout chassis, which is a heavy chassis. The heavy chassis has a beam axle front. That's what we got here. Modified to be a Gasser chassis. It's going to go underneath that FB Holden to be a street-driven Gasser. Look at that. 9 inches all in, springs, everything's bolted back up properly. Haven't welded those perches yet. We'll get to that. Wheel fitment's really good. We're going to go a smaller tyre. These are just some ones I had laying around. And these rims, I got these rims really cheap. They are brand new, but they were like a cheap Chinese knockoff, basically. And they've all just gone bad. They've never actually been mounted to a car until I put these wheel nuts on them. They just sort of sat in a container and went bad. But man, that's looking cool. I'm so wrapped with that. Still got a lot more work to do on the chassis itself. We've got to take out this cross member, box the rest of the frame in, probably lose this cross member as well. There's a lot to be done. Obviously got to make mounts to carry an FB Holden, but that is one drag car chassis right there, man. Could not be more pumped about that. Golly, that is freaking rad. So I'm going to sign this off right here. It's a bit of a shorter video, this one. Bring you up to speed on the Gasser and its chassis. From here, both of these parts, the chassis and when you got the camera backwards, everything's backwards. The Gasser and the FB will go out for mating, I suppose, putting together. Mounting's the right word. I don't know if mating was a very good word at all. So Adam's going to take it all out to his place. Once it's out there, we'll go out there and we'll have a good look at it, check on some progress of this thing. In the meantime, with that big spot opened up, the mighty F truck will now be slid into this space over here, and we're going to get right back into doing some mechanical work on that before it goes out for paint. It's got a braking issue. One of the wheel cylinders is totally shot and it squirts out brake fluid. The carby bleeds down. It leaks so badly that if you leave it overnight, when you go start in the morning, you got to fill the bowls back up essentially. Anyway, we'll fix a few of those things, put some new brakes on it. It'll be a good thing. That way panel beaters don't need to deal with my issues essentially. So that'll be that. Anyway, that is my glorious chassis. It is now late at night and I'm ready to go home. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys on the very next video.